All right, guys, this is a video on fasting for digestive health. And generally, this is within the context of a bulking cycle. So when you're trying to gain weight. So I'm going to cover a few points today. Firstly, what is the issue we're trying to fix? So why would you do a fast? What's the point? Secondly, how does this help? How does it help me? How could it potentially help you? Thirdly, what does a fast look like? Fourthly, how would you set up the calories across the week and redistribute them to ensure that you're still gaining weight despite this long fast? And lastly, are there any populations which might want to avoid the fast or at least think twice about doing it? Okay. So firstly, what's the issue we're trying to fix? Now, if you're a bodybuilder in a gaining part of your year, so you're trying to put on weight, you're going to be eating more calories than you're used to. So more calories than your body wants as maintenance. That's the whole idea. Okay. So this applies to two populations. Firstly, bodybuilders coming straight out of a contest prep. And that's an unusual situation because the calories are raised fairly high off the bat, depending on how deep your cut was. So me, for example, I'm on roughly double the amount of calories that I ended my contest prep on. So that's quite a lot extra relative to what I was eating before. The second population is bodybuilders during an off season. So as you've gone past the initial 2-3 months of recovery after a competition, and you're going into your off season and you're ever increasing your calories relative to what you're used to. So it's two populations. And the key identifying similar part of this is that we're trying to raise calories progressively. So we're eating more than we're comfortable with. So the issue we're trying to fix, and often what you find in those circumstances, is you'll get a certain amount of digestive discomfort. So as you're ever increasing the amount of calories you take in, you'll start to get stomach issues. So either bloating, just generally your stomach stretching out, or just not being able to digest and really push everything through the way you want. So that's the issue we're trying to fix. General digestive issues, either getting blocked up or getting bloated or actual stomach pain. Now, how does this help? So I've been doing this now for probably about 6 weeks. And this has helped massively for me. I do a fast on a Sunday, and by the time it gets to Saturday, I'm ready for a fast. I want to stop eating. You'll often find it's an alien concept for some of you, perhaps in the middle of a diet, but it's a very true prospect for someone who's in a bulking phase. If you've been eating a lot for a long period of time, really taking a break is just not eating after a while. So the way that it helps is generally when we eat, just to break things down in really easy to understand terms, when we eat, we're ingesting food, it gets broken down and digested, and then we poop out the remains. If you're constantly adding food in and more than what you're used to, you're going to get an uneven amount of food coming in compared to food going out. So what a fast does is just temporarily relieves that whole process. So you just stop putting food in, gives your body some time to process what's inside already, and then you're ready, fresh, start the new week to begin eating fully again as you need to support your weight gain goals. So that's how it helps. Generally, just makes you feel better. For me personally, my stomach feels better. I'm ready to eat big again. And even little things like my subjective health markers, heart rate and blood pressure all look better after a long fast. So it's all very positive as far as I'm concerned. And this hasn't sacrificed my weight gain goals at all. I'm still gaining weight at the rate that I like. Right, so what does a fast look like? Now, if you're watching this, you've probably heard of fasting. It's not a new concept anymore. Perhaps 10 years ago it was. So you've probably heard of some type of fast, whether that's a 16-8 or a 24 or something along those lines. What I'm suggesting in this video is just one period during the week where you pick a day where you do an extended fast. So what I do is I do my fast on Sundays. Sunday, I'll generally lie in, probably do a little bit of work in the afternoon, spend some time with family, and it's a day where I can just take my mind off everything and just stop eating. So I'll just pick one day per week where I'm not going to the gym. I don't have those recovery demands. It's just a nice relaxing day where I can take my mind off things and just stop eating for a while to give my stomach a break. It's really it's a relief for me with the amount that I have to eat during the week. So I pick one day during the week, and essentially I just push back my first meal. So whereas normally I might eat my first meal in the morning, I would push that back to roughly 6 p.m. So you're essentially fasted for roughly 20 hours from the night before. So if the night before you stop eating at about 8 to 10, something along those lines, and you fast right through your sleep as you normally would, whereas you'd normally break the fast in the morning, you just extend that right to 6 p.m. And again, it just gives your stomach that much more time to clear out the food it's currently digesting, and then you feel a lot better. So that's what it looks like. Basically, just push back your first meal till about 6 p.m. Now, fourthly, how would we set up the calories across the week? So I know what some of you are thinking. If you're bulking, the concept of not eating, while it might be appealing, is a little bit counterproductive. But let me assure you that if you redistribute the calories across the week, you won't have a problem with that. So let's say, for example, you're eating, say, I don't know, something like 3,000 calories. You're probably eating more if you're bulking, but just for ease of maths, let's say 3,000 calories. Now, across the week, that's 21,000 calories. So 3,000 times 7 is 21,000 calories. Now, let's say on the Sunday night after 6 p.m., you have 1,000 of those calories. So you have roughly 20,000 to redistribute across those 6 days. So that means you get to eat slightly more per day. So you can take that daily intake up to about 3,300. So as opposed to 3,000, roughly 3,300. And that allows you to do your fast on Sunday. You still have the same weekly average of calories per day. Okay, so in my experience, that's not going to halt your weight gain in the slightest. You just need to compensate on the other days by having slightly increased food. Okay, right, the final point is, who is this potentially not such a great idea for? I can think of two populations. Firstly, those who have previously had eating disorders. Now, I've been fortunate enough to work with clients who've had eating disorders in the past. I say fortunate because it's allowed me more experience with different populations. What is definitely true is some remnants of the eating disorder tend to stay with the person throughout their lives. Not saying they'll always have issues with it or it'll be irrecoverable. Most people recover really well, but they'll have to be conscious at least of their eating habits and make sure they don't go too far down that rabbit hole. So for them, this might potentially not be the best idea. Second population is very, very large bodybuilders who are lean and are already eating quite a lot. So if you're already on something like 6,000 calories a day, for example, doing a fast and then redistributing the calories across the other days of the week might mean you're eating something along the lines of an extra 800 to 900 calories per day on the other days. That's not really practical because, again, that's probably not going to solve the problem. That's probably just going to make the problem worse. So if you're already eating quite a lot, I think you'll have to come up with other strategies if you're having digestive health issues. But that could be the topic for another video. There are a few things that I do there as well. Okay, so hopefully you found this video useful. Just to go over the 5 points again. Firstly, what's the issue we're trying to solve? The issue that we're trying to solve here is that ever-increasing amounts of food can cause digestive discomfort for bodybuilders generally in a bulking phase. How does this help? This helps by just giving your stomach some time during the week and some extra time to digest what's already inside without throwing more food on top. Thirdly, what does a fast look like? Generally, it's a period during the week where you pick one day and you just push that breakfast back until roughly 6 to 7 p.m. Fourthly, how would you set up the calories? All you'll do is take the calories that you're saving on the day of a fast and just redistribute them across the week. So rather than having, say, 4,000 or 5,000 calories on a Sunday, you might only have 1,000 after 6 p.m. and then whatever's left, those 3,000 to 4,000 calories, you'd redistribute across the week and just eat slightly more on the other days to make sure you're still gaining weight and make sure your weekly average still looks right. Lastly, who might not this be suitable for? Potentially may not be suitable for people with eating disorder history and also very large bodybuilders who already have a very high daily caloric intake. All right, guys, that's just something that's helped me and it continues to help me. I'll be doing it for the foreseeable future. It's a really good way of structuring the week. And if it sounds like something you want to try, let me know if you try it, and if you've had any success, either DM me on Instagram or just reply back to this video if you're on YouTube. All right, thanks.